All right, friends, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to be focusing solely on the lower body. One of the things that I really want to start working towards is getting into that um, really deep muscle in here called your psoas muscle. This is one of the biggest muscles in your entire body, and it's one of the hardest to stretch. And so I'd like to start kind of working our way into being able to properly stretch that out so that, especially because that's around our abdomen area, that was probably, if you're an endo sufferer, really, really freaking tight. So let's get into it. So I want to start off by taking a wide-legged child's pose. So coming onto your mat, big toes are touching, knees, try to bring them as wide as your mat, if it's possible. If not, just having them as wide as what feels comfortable for you. And then just slowly stretching it down, coming nice and deep, allowing that back to kind of curve a little bit so that you're really getting into those inner hips. Bringing it down, resting your head, and taking some nice deep breaths. And then very gently lifting yourself back up. And then from here, we're going to come to sit, bringing our legs directly out in front of us, lifting those sit bones, the butt cheeks, bringing them up and back so that you can sit properly, and bringing your legs out as straight as you can. If you can't quite keep them straight on the ground, just having a bend in them, whatever feels comfortable for you. I'd like you to push yourself just a little bit, but never ever causing pain or discomfort. So having those feet bent, sitting up nice and tall, inhale and bring your hands up and above your head. And then slowly start to bring it down, and only coming as far as you can. So reaching, if all you can reach for is your knees, keeping that back nice and elongated, not hunching over quite yet, or trying for your shins or your ankles, or if you can, reaching for those toes. And then from here, you can go ahead and bring your head down, rounding out that spine. You really want to feel that stretch all along the backs of your legs and even up into the low back a little bit. Breathing here. Every single time that you feel your muscles release just a little bit, go ahead and bring yourself down just a little tiny bit farther. Pushing yourself just that one tiny millimeter deeper into this pose. Really want to start working on loosening up those leg muscles, especially when you spend a lot of time in the fetal position and those legs are kind of curled and bent. The back sides of your legs are going to have a really hard time being stretched out fully. I picked up some extra shifts this week, so my legs are super tight right now. I'm really, really loving this. A couple more deep breaths here. Just allowing yourself to come a little bit deeper. One more time. Deep inhale in. Exhale, bring it down. And then inhale and coming back up to sitting. And from here, we're going to take our butterfly pose, bringing those feet to touch in front of you, letting those knees splay out to the side, and only bringing your heels in as close as you can. Now, I don't want them this far out unless it's completely impossible for you to bring them any farther in. But bring them in as close as you possibly can, because this stretch will give you, will hit different areas than what we're trying to hit. And so here I want you to kind of just bounce those knees up and down, get those all stretched out. And then two ways, you can either hold on to your feet and use your elbows to push those knees down as you come forward. You really want to get that stretch in those inner thighs. Or to make it a little more passive, you can just bring those hands out in front and just start to allow yourself to stretch down. And this is going to depend on where you are in your practice. If you're brand new to this, it's probably going to feel better for you to bring those arms out and just make this more passive. Or if you're really tight or you're a little bit more advanced, it's probably going to feel good to get deeper into that stretch. Because I know once you kind of hit a certain point, just bringing your body over doesn't give you as deep as a stretch as you're looking for. So finding what feels good for you and then just kind of holding it there. You can rock up and down if you want just to start getting into it. Trying to find some stillness here. Breathing. And just relaxing. Letting those inner thighs just relax and stretch out, giving them some love. One more deep inhale in. And as you exhale, go ahead and bring yourself back up to sitting. And then from here, we're going to just take our legs out as wide as they can. So I like to go back on my hands, takes that pressure off, and then bringing your legs out as wide as what's comfortable for you. If you can't get this wide, please do not strain yourself to do it. We are all at different levels, and wherever you are is perfectly fine for your body. And then from here, I just want to take a little bit of a side stretch. So bringing your right hand to your right ankle and bringing that left arm up and over. And just kind of giving it a stretch. And again, only going as far as you can. The only thing I ask is you're not hunching forward. We're trying to get that side body a little bit. So making sure that you're going directly to the side so that you're getting that elongation throughout this part of your body right here. Couple breaths here. And then coming up, and we're just going to take it to the other side. So same thing, not hunching forward, just kind of going directly to the side. I apologize if you can hear my dogs barking right now. There's probably a bird. One more deep breath here. And coming back up to center. And then from here, we're going to go straight out to the front. So bringing those hands, slowly bringing them forward. This is where you can utilize things like blocks or books. If you can't quite bring yourself down and you want to relax, you can put that block any which way to give yourself something to rest on. And then just finding what feels good for you. The best thing you can do here is to not force yourself to go down farther than what your muscles are ready, because you're really going to feel a deep stretch kind of in the back of that inner thigh, and just allowing gravity to slowly bring you down. So notice how my elbows aren't touching the ground. I kind of brought my arms out far enough so that they don't touch. And then I'm just going to allow gravity to slowly bring me down as I get deeper and deeper into the stretch with each inhale and exhale. As your muscles give a little bit of a release, then your body can just come a little bit deeper into it. A few more breaths here. And then pushing yourself back up. And just gently bringing those legs out directly in front of you. Lean back and then just let those legs get a little bit of a shake. And then from here, we're just going to take a gentle stretch for the outside of our hips. So bringing that right foot over top of your left knee, keeping that right foot bent, bringing that bottom foot in as close to your sit bones as possible, and then pushing into it. And again, only going as deep and as far into this as what feels right for you, never pushing yourself too hard because you don't want to injure yourself. That's the main thing. We're just here to release any tension in our muscles that feels good for us. You can even shake your legs back and forth just a tiny bit. Don't go too heavy, don't go too hard. Just kind of getting different areas of the glute muscle, helping to loosen that up. And then we're just going to gently release that and switching sides. bringing that left knee over the right, bringing that right foot in as close to our sit bones as what feels good for us. And then same thing, you can just stay still or just kind of gently rock it back and forth. And just relax and let that outer hip release the tension. Perfect. And then we're just going to release that nice and gently. Shake those legs out. And then from here, this is where I will start getting into that psoas muscle. So we're going to start off really gently. If you've done this before and you have the ability to go deeper into this, feel free to do that. But I'm just going to take this nice and slow for those who may not be at that level or may have never done this before. So first thing what we're going to do is we're just going to start off one-legged. So we're going to take our left leg and kind of bring it around so that our heel and our foot is directly beside our hip. We're not sitting on it. It's not splayed out to the side. It's touching. And then from here, this is where having pillows or bolsters or things like that can come in handy, or blocks if you need it, just to help prop yourself up. But you're just going to start by slowly bringing it back. And if right here feels good for you, this is where you stay. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can start to kind of bring your elbows down. And again, this is where having those tools to help you will make it a lot easier to transition into this phase. So the next one you're working towards is being on your elbows. Your hands are coming down towards your foot, and you'll feel a lot of a deep stretch in here. And the deeper down you get in this, especially if you're not as tight, is the more you'll feel the psoas. But if you're really tight, you may already feel it here in the psoas muscle. And that might be just where you need to stay. And then again, as you want to go deeper, using your tools to slowly bring you down to the level of being able to lay on your back. Every time that you transition to a new level, you do not want to let that knee lift off the floor, because by doing that, you're taking that tension out and now you're not getting the full stretch that you could be getting so long as that knee is down. So if you can't keep that knee down, you're too far into the stretch and you need to bring yourself up a little higher. And the full expression of this is where you have both legs bent back. So it gets in really deep into that psoas. But this is a really good starting point, doing one leg at a time and eventually working up to having both your legs bent back. But again, we're not trying to injure ourselves. We're not trying to do anything crazy here. We just want to very gently and deeply start relaxing our muscles. So, and especially that psoas, like I said, it's the biggest muscle in your body. It attaches from the top of your legs into your hips and all the way up to your ribs. So this is one that you really want to start trying to take more care of, and doing these kinds of stretches will help. So wherever you're at in this pose, I want you to just take a couple more deep breaths, waiting for that muscle to release even just a little bit. If you want to take this just a little bit deeper, if you feel like you can go ahead and do so. If not, just stay where you're at. And then from here, we're going to slowly start to release. So no matter where you're at in this pose, you want to come out of it really slowly and really gently. And especially if you're all the way on the floor, you don't want to just rip yourself out of this pose because you can injure yourself. So you're going to start, if you're where I'm at, is just kind of slowly start to bring yourself back up onto your elbows. And then just gently push yourself back up to a sitting position. And then from there, bring that leg out straight in front of you. Give it a little bit of a shake. And we're going to switch sides. I'm going to switch directions so you can see again what I'm doing. Taking that right leg, we're going to bring it back behind us. Again, foot and heel is directly beside our hip. It is not way out to the side. We're not sitting on it. Knee stays on the ground the entire time. And then wherever feels good for you, you might be able to go a little bit deeper into this one, or you may not be able to go as deep. It's perfectly normal to have one side tighter than the other. That's not uncommon. And let's begin by just slowly bringing it down to wherever feels comfortable for you. And even if you know you can get into it really deeply, please do not just rush into it. Allow your body that second and each phase of this to adjust. And then very slowly bring yourself into the full expression that your body can handle. Keeping that knee pressed down to the ground, feeling that deep stretch in the tops of our thighs, all the way up into our psoas, into our stomachs. If you want to take it even a bit deeper, you can always just bring your arms above your head. That just kind of helps stretch this muscle out a little bit more, the psoas. And just breathing here. A few more breaths. It's really allowing that muscle to just relax, loosen, let go. And then from here, slowly bringing yourself back up from whatever position you're in, not rushing it, not forcing it. Bring that foot out in front of you and just giving it a nice gentle shake. And then we're just going to take a nice gentle spinal twist, decompress that low back. So laying back down, nice and slowly, and either bringing both knees into your chest or just your right knee. We're going to go over to the left, twisting, keeping that right arm out to the right, bringing your face out to the right, going in as deep as you can. Just relaxing here for a moment. Spend so much time rushing around. A lot of us do. Always so nice to just take those few moments, even if it's 5-10 minutes, of just solitude, relaxation, forgetting about our to-do list. It will still be there when you're done. It's not going anywhere. Bringing it back to the center, hugging that knee in, and then bringing that leg out. Switching sides if you're doing single-legged, or bringing both those knees back in and twisting it around to the other side. Just relaxing. Taking that time. Coming back to center. And I'd like you to bring both of your knees into your chest for just a moment, holding onto the backs of your thighs, and just bringing those knees out as wide as the outsides of your ribs, if it's possible. And if it's possible for you, start either grabbing onto the ankles or the outsides of the feet and coming into your happy baby pose. Just one more final stretch for those hips, rocking back and forth, massaging that low back. Taking a moment here. And then go ahead and release, and we're just going to slowly come to sitting. And just remembering today that you need to take some extra time, stay hydrated, nourish your body with some healthy foods, do the things to help keep you going on that right track of detoxing your body, relaxing your body, getting to that point where you're actually going to finally start to see some relief. So make sure you drink lots of water, add some lemons to it or some sort of fruit, get those electrolytes in, and I will see you guys in the next video.